happening guys? This is Nagpal for iGyaan, and today we're going to be checking out the new Xolo Q900. Now this device is available for a price of about 12,000 rupees, but you can find it in the market for slightly less if you do a little bit of searching around. It is also available for a lot cheaper on online websites. So do a bit of searching if you're planning to buy this device. Let's talk about the pros and cons, and then I'll tell you what we think of this device finally. So if we talk about the specifications, we have pretty decent specifications on the device. On the inside, we have a MTK or MediaTek 6589 chipset, which is a quad-core 1.2 GHz chipset. We have the PowerVR SGX 544MP GPU. We also have 1 GB of RAM and 4 GB of storage, and you have micro SD card expandability up to 32 GB. If you talk about the front of the device, you have a 4.7-inch display, which is a 720p display, so it's still an HD display, not a full HD, but a HD display. And you have two cameras, a main 8-megapixel camera that does do full HD video, and you have a front-facing 2-megapixel camera that is only capable of, I think, VGA video and not even HD video. The battery is 1800 milliamp hours. So that's a look at some of the specifications of the device. If we talk about the interface, we are running Android 4.2 out of the box on this device, and the overall usability of the device is fairly fast and fluid. But before we get into the interface, I'm going to talk a little bit about the build quality. Now the plastics are really nice quality on this device, and they feel really nice in the hand, and the overall device feels really nice in the hand. I wouldn't be too happy about the design of the device. It's a very stale sort of looking device. It's not the prettiest device that you can get in this price bracket, that's for sure. But everyone's got their taste. I personally don't like the design that much, but the build quality is really impressive. Another thing is that the camera sticks out, so it always falls first on the table, which is not a good sign. So your phone will always hit the camera when you place it down on the table. The buttons are fairly nice and tactile. However, I feel that after some time of use, the buttons might not respond properly because the power button already started to jiggle a little bit. Let's talk about the display. The display has fairly decent viewing angles, not the best that I have seen. It does tend to darken out on the corners, and that is not something that we would expect from a good quality display. So this is no IPS display, it's a standard LCD, and it does sort of darken out if you turn it over to the corners. Now the UI is fairly basic, not customized at all, just a bunch of Xolo applications that come pre-installed. So you have Xolo Secure, Xolo Battery Saver, and a firewall system that Xolo puts into the device. But apart from that, it's more or less stock Android and not a lot of customizations. That could be one of the reasons that the device is so fast and responsive. Now if you talk about some of the basic things like the dialer is fairly easy to use. You can initiate voice calls as well as video calls from the dialer. It's not difficult at all. You can press the video call button to initiate video calls over 3G. Not that it makes sense to do that, but you have that option into this device. Networks were fairly solid in our tests, and we faced little or no dropped calls, so we are pretty happy with that. Now the keyboard comes in as a stock keyboard. You do get emoticons. I would recommend that you replace it with a swipe keyboard or any such similar keyboard available from the Android store or the Google Play Store, so that you get a better keyboard response. The screen is a 5-point multi-touch, and it's fairly touch responsive, so typing on this device is not a problem. Now the inbuilt browser is not the fastest that we've seen. In fact, replacing it with Google Chrome will be recommended. Although it does browse websites and it loads up our website fairly fast, it's sort of glitchy and is not the best experience that you can get on an Android device. So it's definitely recommended that you replace it with Google Chrome or any of your favorite browsers that you can find. Now you can also install a lot of launchers, but if you press on the home button for the second time, you do get a quick jump from first screen to the second screen. So that's good. You can quickly switch around from screens. You can add a total of 7 home screens, which is pretty standard when it comes to Android. Now we checked out benchmarks of this device, and the benchmark scorecard was fairly average. We weren't too happy with the overall output, and the device fared average, although benchmarks have been better on this chipset, but the device probably isn't optimized with the chipset too much. So we got good or decent results, not the best that we've gotten on this chipset. Now gaming was a little fidgety on this device. We tried to play virtual tennis and it was working, and then when we were making the video, it stopped working. Some of the other games like Dead Trigger and Subway Surfer worked perfectly fine. For the camera was able to get decent pictures, and the camera interface is pretty stock. Not a lot has been customized on the camera interface. You can do HDR photography if you want to turn that on. You also have a bunch of options. You have scene modes and you have beauty shot. You can also turn on panorama, and you have macro close-up or macro 3D. You can also select a auto scene mode. You have a smile detection and some contrast adjustment as well. You have night mode, and then you can also turn on or off flash according to your requirements. So you have a couple of options there. You can also go into full settings, turn on geo-tagging, some effects if you want. Anti-flicker can be turned on. You can also turn on zero shutter delay, which is not accurate at all. It says zero shutter delay, but there is still a bit of lag when you click a picture. Now, picture quality is pretty decent. Images are fairly sharp and can tend to be a little oversaturated, but you can check out some of the image samples and the video from the device. In conclusion, the Xolo Q900 is a pretty decent device. It fares in fairly well in terms of performance, in terms of value for money. It's an overall rounded device, but it's not the best in terms of performance as well as looks. Build quality is impressive, but that is what it appears to be. We've not really tested out the build quality, but it appears to be impressive. It appears to be solidly built. It could have been designed better, that's for sure. Performance could have been slightly better, and nothing has been customized. So essentially you're buying just another Android device with just another MediaTek chipset in there. And the price is about 11,800 rupees. So take your pick. It's one of the other available MediaTek devices in the market, and that's our review. If you have any questions or queries, do check out the full review of the Q900 on iGyaan.in. Catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/iGyaan, youtube.com/iGyaanTV for iGyaan Networks. This has been Bharat Nagpal. Thank you guys for watching.